Good evening mga kalaro and welcome to the Council of Titos, the show on the Laro-Laro lang channel where Sport Titos talk about a different kind of game. The reality TV game show and social experiment that has run for over 2 decades. Survivor. I'm Chief Bisdak Joel Barcon and with me as always is Vice Chief Bisdak Jao Atienza. What's up, Jao? How are you doing?
I don't know what I'm going to be doing for the next half year.
We'll find something to do. Anyway, we also have with us tonight the man with the thoughts. Let's all welcome back the one, the only, Martin Vicencio. How are you doing, Marts?
Hit the music.
Martin's Thoughts with Martin. Martin. Yeah.
Well, it's been a while, guys. Thank you for always putting in mind Martin's thoughts with Martin.
Martin. All right.
Martin.
Okay, this mga kalaro is the post-show episode, the post-season episode for the Council of Titos, where we will discuss our overall thoughts about Survivor Season 42 and take a look at some of the predictions that we made way back in episode 2, I think, of the Council of Titos. Without further ado, let's get going. First things first, guys, let's take a look at the cast. Tell me, were there any standouts? Who were the standouts for you? Or
Hi.
yeah?
Hi.
Hi.
Why hi?
Tell him why.
Hi. But obviously our winner, Marianne. Very, very good winner for this era of Survivor. And I'm another one of those people that didn't quite play the social game as we would traditionally think of the social game being played. Making the right connections. Like we mentioned before, if you don't have a ride or die with everybody, if you backstab them, they're not going to be a better jury member. Right, member of the jury. Juror. They're juror. As a Cebuano, that sounds so wrong. Juror.
Juror.
Cebuanos,
Yeah.
But yeah, like we mentioned this with Erica as a winner as well, right? Like she wasn't the social butterfly that was friends with, or that had a relationship with everybody, but like picked the right relationships. As opposed to like an Omer, who is also a very standout character from this season, who was the more traditional like social butterfly type, like I'm going to build a relationship with each and every person, and that is to the detriment, I suppose, of people or players in this new era of the game. But yeah, like Marianne, great sort of standout. The whole cast, bro. The whole cast was great.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. No, definitely the entire cast. It was great. You guys mentioned high. We even I don't. It never picked up, I think. But yeah, we started like the high on high hashtag.
High on high. Yeah.
And on the high road, right? We hope that it would pick up. I don't think it ever did. But anyway, so Marianne, yeah, you're right. What about you, Marts? What are your thoughts on the winner first? On the winner and Marianne.
Well, for me, it's like it reminds me a bit more of not like just Erica's win, like the cheery, bubbly character, but it reminds me like of a callback of like she might be the new type of Tony, like
Tony. Wow.
Very much of a social butterfly. Everyone likes them, even though they think of them as eccentric or weird, similar to Tony.
Okay, all right, I can see that.
Like just a younger version. I'm glad she got the win because it's mostly like, had Romeo won, I don't know. It would be cool too, but I don't think anyone was gonna throw votes at his way. But I still
and yeah,
think
he did say that he wasn't in it for the $1 million. He was in it for the life experience.
The life experience, and wow, he made it to the final 3, man. So like, well, a pageant coach making the final 3, who would have thought?
Yeah.
So good for him. But for Marianne, wow, I didn't even expect her like to be sorry, it was moving to be like this far because she has been targeted way before the final episode. Like even during the early parts of the merge, it's always what, okay, we're gonna take out Tori or Chantel and Marianne or Tori. It's always those names. And she like rose above all of those names.
Yeah. At the merge, I mean, at the merge, Jonathan offered Marianne's name as like the odd person out of their tribe, right? Yeah. Of the Taku
Four. The Taku four, the four strong, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So much for strong.
Well, it did kind of hold strong until until Omar got eliminated. I just wanted to hone in a little bit on Zhao when you said that, and also Martz when you guys said that Marianne is kind of a social butterfly, and Zhao said that getting a ride or die with a lot of people, it seemed as if those people who actually did that, having ride or dies with several castaways, they're the ones who got targeted and they're the ones who got eliminated. I mean, it starts with my winner pick. My winner pick, Miss You're My Number One, right? Yeah,
that was such a great edit.
Yeah, that was such a that montage was like such a great to justify why she got voted out, right? And then you also have even Omar in a sense because it came to light that he was playing all the sides. And then even Mike, who made it to the final three, the fact that he gave his word to several people and apparently went against his word, that became a point against him because he thought that he was playing an honorable game, a game of integrity, but he didn't think of it as strategy, right? So that was a point against him. And you have Marianne, whom Zhao said cultivated the right relationships, didn't necessarily. Did she have a ride or die? She didn't necessarily have one, right?
Technically, no.
Yeah,
because it's just Taku 4.
Yeah,
that was it. And then all of those three in the Taku 4 wanted her out. I think at least Omar and Jonathan.
They recognize the danger. What about the other person from the Taku 4? Do you remember her name, Martin?
Lindsay.
There you go, Lindsay. All right. Okay. Aside from Marianne, any other standouts for you guys?
Oh man, we mentioned him already, Mike. I thought he was going to be an early boot because like he's the old 40, 50 plus year old firefighter who's like a generation away from most of these cast members. This cast member is so young. He is like, I think the senior of all seniors in this cast, and he's not even 60.
Yeah. He's around 57, if I'm correct.
Yeah. Here he is in the final three.
Yeah.
You know, like, wow, that's something big. While his ride or die strategy kind of kicked him in the butt, I think it's mostly him choking like in the finals. You know, I don't know if John would get this, but basically he had the 3-1 lead and then he choked it and lost in game 7. I think Joe would get that.
I would get it. I was like, wait a minute. Zhao is not much of a basketball fan, but yeah.
Yes, that's something that happens to like every team.
Yeah.
Not every team.
But that's what happened like recently, right? With
Golden State.
Golden State.
Yeah. Yeah. So Mike.
There's
your crossover with the Laro-Laro lang.
Laro-Laro lang, the regular Laro-Laro.
And I guess we're gonna get a draft episode soon.
Yeah.
Because the draft's coming.
Yeah. And I think that the fact I also have Mike. Mike for me was a standout. I didn't really quite take note of him. But the fact that he had ride or dies, or he gave his word. That was his thing. He gave his word because it's like, you're my number one. And then I don't know what Omar's thing was, but Mike's was, I give you my word. That was his spiel, right? And I honestly think that when he said that he gave his word, I think Zhao and I touched on this a bit last episode. When he says he gives his word, he in his mind, it really is him giving his word, and it's not. And he, I don't think it really was a strategy of his to 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 promise people things, right? It's just that, and it's just his character. He goes by his word. Like he's a little bit like Roxroy. They're sort of set
Yes.
in their ways, right? And that's him. And I Mike is a standout for me because I like the sort of growth that we saw from him. He's this, like what we said. He's a 57-year-old retired firefighter from Hoboken, New Jersey. Martin.
Jersey, York, it's the same.
So yeah, so he's a 57-year-old retired firefighter. He's probably never really been exposed to too much culture from other people, and then here he is. He's getting exposed to all of these different kinds of people, and he was at the very least he was edited to look as if he was naturally interested in figuring out all of these different stories. That clip of him just observing Omar doing his prayers, that was cute. Like he really wanted to learn about Omar's faith, right? How much of that was strategy? I don't think it was. In all honesty, I don't think it was. I think he was earnestly and honestly curious about his fellow castaways culture. And like you said, Martin, it was cool to see him go toe to toe with the younger castaways, especially for that final challenge. That was pretty cool, and for him to win that final, no, not the final immunity, was it? Yeah,
the fire making thing.
the final, no, sorry, the final reward challenge, the obstacle course.
Oh right.
Right.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm gonna do a little bit of a Martin here. Uh, Mike gives me like the shades, some shades of Rudy from all the way from season one. Rest in
Season
peace.
one, yeah.
Yeah, rest in
And
peace,
he's
Rudy
like,
Bosch.
he was the first final three, top three contestant, Rudy, before the final two,
Mm,
which was Kelly
Yeah.
and Hatch. So that's good. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, yeah,
Happy
yeah.
you mentioned Roxroy, because I also got surprised about Roxroy. He felt like an early merge boot. No, pre-merge
pre-merge?
boot. And here he was hitting that sand thing,
The
like the hourglass thing, right?
Yeah.
And thank God they didn't say to be continued. That would have pissed us off, all of us. Like, we know he's gonna hit it, even though he's Roxroy. You know, I know it's something not so Roxroy, but he'd be stupid enough to not do it. And he also knows this. Like, yeah, I think they're gonna shit on me for this. Here you go. No one's gonna shit on me online now. And of course he's gonna hit it, man. He wants to be immune when he goes back to the Tribal Council. Who doesn't want to be immune when he comes back to an island? And he's the guy who wasn't picked for the feast. He's the guy who was picked for that one instead. Obviously, you're the next one out.
Yeah.
We will talk about that when we talk about the game.
The game.
Yeah, how
Because
we
it
like
is
the
all
game.
about the game and how you play it. Yeah. It's all about control and how you take it.
Happy Rusev Day.
Happy Rusev Day.
Anyway, Zhao, any other standouts?
Drea stood out.
Yes.
Drea was so cool.
Mhm.
Like just super stacked and like
The collector.
The advantage queen.
She was like Thanos, dude, like with all
Ooh,
of the Infinity Gauntlet, right?
Yeah.
The infinity advantages.
Yeah, all of those advantages. It was so cool to see. It was so cool to see that. And I think I don't know, Martin, correct me if I'm wrong. Is it the first that someone got all of these different kinds of advantages, and that person, they had that all at the same time? Is this a first for a Survivor season?
Well, for me, it's like this is the only time you have a lot of advantages. Maybe, yeah, for the first time. But if you're talking about like taking advantages, like all in all, like in a span of a short while, not really. We all have our Russell hands.
Yeah,
we all
Russell
have our
hands.
Tony
Yeah, Russell
Bledsoes.
hands. Yeah.
But wow, Drea really piling up the advantages left and right. And it's not her borrowing it or like getting it from a JD or getting it from whoever. It's like it's her own hard-earned, blood, sweat, and tears kind of thing.
Blood,
No?
blood.
Get
Mentioned
it?
that.
Get
Blood
it?
and mud.
Her blood, sweat, and tears kind of thing. From the start. Guys, from the start.
From the start. From the start.
And she was like, and her boot was fun.
Yeah.
Like,
Right?
it was light. It was light, like apparently Chanel also had as she was leaving also had like some spicy words to say to the rest of the cast that was there at the time, but it was supposedly a little bit more bitter.
It seems as if out of the entire cast, Chanel is the most bitter, because I remember you telling me that she was the one who broke the you were the one who told me that Chanel was the one who broke the
Jonathan probably
the Jonathan thing,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, so I don't know. She seems like she would be like the angriest. Yeah, she does seem like the angriest person on that cast. But but I suppose that just shows how light this cast is,
Yeah.
Like, since we're talking about the cast, like looking at this cast versus the cast of 41 was something that I noticed was like the cast of 41 was a lot more serious.
Yeah, but there's still this fun element, but
yeah, there's this fun element. Maybe it was the editing of the show.
Fun. Also the editing
Maybe
of the show,
maybe also it was the editing of the show,
Maybe it
because
was the editing of the show.
Because I don't know where I watched. Was it in the finale? But they were given the mandate to make Survivor fun again. And I think there was a former castaway who gave suggestions. I think I watched a YouTube video about it, about how they came up with why they reduced it to 26, why they wanted it to be more interactive with the audiences, because it was a mandate from CBS. Like, we need to make it more fun. And that's why I think Mike from David versus Goliath, Marts, I think he was one of the final three. And then he gave Probes some suggestions of how to make it more fun. Right? Then it went into, and that's why. And I think this cast really absorbed all of that. Right? Their personalities also was really apt for the season.
You're right. With Mike White, right? Not Dr. Mike Zazowski.
No.
We're gonna talk about
from David versus Goliath.
And
David versus Goliath.
Your reproductive systems, Dr. Mike. But yeah, I like both Mikes and the current Mike, which is cool because for those who don't know, Mike White is actually one of the, I think he's a Hollywood movie writer before David versus Goliath. That's why he was, he was talking to Jeff about making Survivor fun. And just like Mike, he was the oldest man to compete in his season of David versus Goliath. Really? So, that's a bit similar to the current Mike.
Nice. Wow. Well, for me, someone whom I think none of us really thought that she would be a standout, but she became a standout, was none other than Lindsay. Martin's favorite castaway.
Person I forget.
Most memorable castaway for Martin. Because I mean, for the entire season, up until what do you call this? Up until the merge, Lindsay was, for the most part, the purple of all of the episodes, right? Because we hardly ever saw her.
Both her and Drea got purpled out, and it's ironic because don't they have the same advantage as High?
Yes. But aside from that, but with Drea at the very least, I think that she would still get confessionals and all of that. But Lindsay, throughout the season, she hardly got confessionals. Right?
That's why I can't remember her name.
up until the merge, when she started becoming like this challenge beast and won immunity left and right, right? Yeah. And we saw a very quick glimpse of how she was a nurturer in the Taku tribe, and the fact that it was a consistent thing for her, right? She's a nutritionist by profession, if I remember correctly. And but yeah,
Or
she's
dietitian.
a dietitian. Sorry, yeah, dietitian. I think a dietitian.
I
Yeah.
don't know the difference.
But yeah, so it's there. But her nurturing personality, despite the fact that she isn't really that old, although I really thought that she was like a little older.
We're like the same age.
Yeah, right?
She's younger than you, Joel. She's younger than you.
Yeah, I know. But she looked a little bit more mature, I would say. Not than me, I don't think so. But anyway, than the rest of the tribe. But she was like the nurturer of I think I mentioned that also in an episode, that she's like the nurturer of the Taku tribe, and she continued being the nurturer of the Kula Kula. And it showed, especially during the tribal, when Tori got voted out, that controversial, sort of controversial, highly very important or integral tribal, right? And she was the one who, I hear you. She has that. That was her script. I hear you. I understand, and it showed. She was a little bit more nurturing or more understanding than the psychiatrist Tori.
That's so true. That is so true.
Right?
Speaking of Tori, great villain. Great villain.
Actually, it's like,
and I really after her boot, great face for the jury.
Yes, her and Hai.
Her and Hai.
Yeah.
They were the ones that had all of the wow faces, all of the shock, all of the YouTube thumbnail faces for the jury, and it was just so cool, you know. Like, I didn't care much for the way that the show portrayed her game, but on the jury, she was like one of my favorite characters.
True. And it
just because of her
front and center.
Yeah.
You can't miss her.
Yeah. All white, no, or in a very bright, like white, you know, like that was the wardrobe that they gave her.
Yeah, always very standout.
Yeah.
So
of the pre-merge boots, with the exception of Swati for Joel, who are your standouts?
I have one.
Oh wow, that's tough.
Yeah, for me, it's got to be Jenny. It's Jenny. She was
God.
Screwed, no?
Screwed by circumstance. Screwed by circumstance. She should have made it farther into the game, but yeah, she got screwed by circumstance.
The pre-merge version of our boy Romeo.
Yeah.
I think if Daniel just chose, it was between Jenny and Lydia, right?
Yes.
That time?
Yes. It was between Jenny and Lydia.
Because in the thick of things, it wouldn't have mattered. Lydia would have been the next one out. Oh no, after Daniel would have been Lydia anyway. And the Green Tribe was the Green Tribe because I think it was just Hai and I think Mike that got deep in the merge for those guys.
Yeah, you kept on predicting that they'd get whittled down.
And they did.
It was like Daniel, Lydia, and Chanel. That's like three of Green Tribe in a row.
Yeah.
That's so bad, man.
That was Anyway, what about you, Joe? For pre-merge standouts?
Mariah.
Really?
She was the real purple of the season.
Oh yeah.
Come on.
Even
I didn't know she got voted out. Like
she appeared in like one episode.
Right? I mean, it's like, you know, I was looking through like, you know, I was looking through the cast of 42 in preparation for this, and here's my list, and I'm like, yeah, she was like
She was
the
on the
thing.
show.
She was on the show, like Jackson was more memorable, and he
Jackson.
was the
Oh, the
first
one who
boot,
got
the first boot, the medevac, right?
yeah.
And Zach was notable.
Mhm.
Like the two that were
Yes.
booted before Mariah. So like, yeah, that's kind of there truly needs to be like an unmemorable person in Survivor, and that's like really sad. So it's like justice for Mariah.
Justice for Mariah.
So you think that she should be given a second chance?
There should be, like when there's like a returning season, a returning players season, one of those could be like the purples of the season.
Survivor Purple.
Survivor Purples. Wow, that would be cool.
So every
sort of
time
like
I think,
sort of like Sarah from season 41.
yeah.
Wait, who's Sarah? again?
Who's Sarah?
See?
Exactly.
But
wait,
yeah, that's
is it the
that's
one
a
who was
good
like
idea.
was that the one claiming she was the
Second boot.
yeah? Oh fudge. What did she do again? The strategic mastermind of UA, and then nope. Bye-bye. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye.
I
The
seriously,
precursor
but
of
then again,
Sydney.
like I've been saying, I have the worst memory. I really do not remember who Sarah is from season 4.
Sarah was
Blonde girl.
trying to vote out JD just to stay in the game. It was trying to get buddy with Shan and Richard. It
Ricard.
was Ricard. Oh man. We're gonna go back to this question, right? Who from the All-Star seasons should be there. But I think I have to change some of my votes for season 41. And how I know if I'm jumping the boat too fast, but how much maximum number of names can we get from season 41 and 42 for the return season? Anything?
A lot, no, a lot. Because they're both really good casts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. So I think from a Survivor All-Star perspective, this is like Borneo and Australia, where they had a lot of returnees from Survivor All-Stars.
Oh yeah, no. Thinking about it, yeah. No. Now
Wow.
let's see if somebody from 42 is gonna get together and marry somebody from 44.
Right?
In the All-Star,
Right?
in the All-Star
like
season.
a Robber Amber thing.
Yeah.
Will it be Mr. Jonathan finding love in 2 seasons after? And it's like, hey, miss this name. And then eventually they become a couple.
We'll
They become
see.
Boss
We'll
and
see.
Jonathan.
Any other standouts? Any other standouts for you from season 42?
Well, for me,
From the cast.
yeah, actually, I really felt bad for Lydia. I think she would have been.
She was
good
like
if
your
she made it
favorite
to
from the
vote.
start, man.
Yeah, because like that's the new Ricard and Shan thing for the Green Tribe. Think about it. Lydia and Hai. And then Hai just fucked it. No, never mind. I'm getting Mike now. Mike's my new best friend. You know that Indian meme?
It was Lydia. Lydia was kind of screwed as well. Like she's like Jenny, you know.
Yeah, it was either her or Jenny at that episode.
No.
Like,
When she
both
got
of
booted
them.
out.
Both of them were screwed when they were booted out.
Mm.
And because Lydia was a victim of the hourglass.
Oh right, yeah, because she. Oh yeah, that's
Right,
true.
Lydia was the victim of the hourglass, and Jenny was screwed by
Daniel.
Chanel risking her vote.
By Chanel.
Oh, yeah, that was dumb. That was so
And
dumb.
Daniel
Chanel. Sorry,
Daniel
Chanel.
buckling to Hai's
To
pressure,
highs.
right?
Yeah,
And his
so,
own, I'm not going to rocks, right?
Well, good for you, Daniel.
At least he now has friends for life in Mike. Right? He has a friend for life until Mike dies. Right?
Yeah, friend for life.
Yeah,
Daniel.
what's it? So in that way, like, you know, you can kind of thematically see these like dyads in the castaways that sometimes come to fruition and sometimes they don't. So, you know, like a really good like two survivors that were like so linked to each other and had a really good story were Roxroy and Tori, right? Like they were both booted on the same episode, and up until that point they had shown that they were both like arch nemesis or whatever, and you know, very very poetic end to their story.
Yeah, same.
That, you know, the same episode they both get sort of booted out. Yeah, and thematically there was Jenny and Lydia, but you know, that was neither here nor there. You know.
And it's really about like like what you said. It's the dyads that came out. You could say that, I mean, the battle royale between Big Jonathan and Lindsay, right? That became like a headline for a couple of episodes. Like, okay, it all comes down to Jonathan and Lindsay for most challenges, and it was also because of their own competitive nature. Lindsay almost got screwed over by her own competitive nature with that.
That's so
the do or die, right? Because of her own competitive nature.
I was really hoping that they would go to fire against each other, you know?
Yeah, that would have been cool.
Lindsay and Jonathan.
But that's always for the final four tribal, though.
Yeah, I
but
mean,
like the
it
story,
was a wish that it should have gotten there.
Yeah, because of the story up until that point was Jonathan versus Lindsay, and how nice would it have been to see them face off in fire. They should script Survivor because that would have been amazing.
I still stand by my conspiracy theory that Survivor is scripted. No, of course it's a joke. For all those who are serious Survivor fans, I'm a serious Survivor fan, but I just want to joke about it that Survivor is scripted, because a lot of coincidences happened. I mean, how would Lindsay have found a toe?
Right, a toe after how many? And it's like, there's this toe.
That must have been a really tiny beach.
Yeah,
the new beach must be tiny.
Yeah, right. So anyway, I guess let's move on to the next part. Anything you want to mention about the game? Like, how did you find the challenges? Were there any? Did they actually introduce any new challenges for this one? They're all rehashed.
And Jeff says it outright. Since nobody saw season 41, we're gonna run them back.
So it was exactly point for point?
It's the mud thing.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't exactly point for point.
Yeah, the challenges weren't exactly point for point, right?
Yeah, I mean, like they didn't do the lift locks with your foot thing, you know. So like,
oh, thank God, the feet thing.
Yeah, so like I don't remember them doing that. I don't like challenges in Modern Survivor.
For me, it's too safe. In a sense, I mean, I miss the challenges where they actually go up against each other.
Oh, the one-on-ones.
Yeah.
And then throw them on the pile of mud thing. You know,
yeah.
The gladiator style challenge.
The ones that they do in Australian Survivor.
Yeah, exactly.
You were mentioning, right? Yeah.
Yeah, because in Australian Survivor, there's a lot. I mean, they go back to like the one where you had like this big, the sort of sumo thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where you have to push each other out of a platform and they fall into the water. Even those things, that's pretty safe, right? But we don't have those anymore. We didn't. We didn't see that. And those kinds of challenges have been outlawed so far. 41 and
the other thing that I really don't like is how, and this is, I guess, because they're staying in Fiji, but they don't have like challenges that are running through the jungle. Well, that first challenge was like the closest that we would have gotten to it, but you know, like really do still remember that from Survivor Africa, where they had to make a big SOS on the ground, and that was like their challenge, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like a lot of those
thematic. I think you mentioned it.
Yeah,
Thematic challenges
very
that are
thematic challenges.
that are connected to where they're located.
Yeah, and or you know, Survivor type challenges that are about, you know, surviving.
Yeah, true.
You know, a reward challenge where they catch.
Wait.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or like a reward challenge where they catch fish,
Mm-hmm.
and their reward is like the fish.
Yeah.
Since you won the challenge, you now get the challenge. So
the reward
like,
challenge, the reward for the challenge is the challenge.
Challenge. Ha!
That's
I
the
am
twist.
the reward.
Or you know, something like you get the fish that the other tribe caught.
Ooh, you get all of it.
Yeah,
Yours
something
and
like that.
Yeah, true.
You know,
yeah,
that's the sort of challenge that I kind of miss. You know, the challenges that are thematic, tied to the place, or the challenges that are about, you know, surviving.
Survival. Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway,
it's become so gamified now. It's become a game show in a sense. The challenges have become game show challenges.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I agree. I for one miss the thematic challenges that are tied to the place. Yeah.
Even the theming, even the theming, the Jesus challenge where they have to stand up on the thing, right? The one that Christian Hubicki like totally beasted, that Jonathan.
Yeah, that 5 hour that 5 hour one for Christian.
The 5 hour one that's now like what, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Right, that one, like that one. It's so colorful. It's so colorful, you know. They could have just made them all brown with like tribal looking designs on it. You know, like back in the day when they had to stand on top of a pole sticking out of the water. They weren't like orange, green, purple, like they were just brown pieces of wood sticking out of the, you know, or the put your hand, like speaking of Rudy, the put your hand on a piece of wood thing, like it wasn't green. You know,
but then again, Joe, that might be the Titos in us talking that back in our day, you know, it was so much more. What about you, Martz? What about you?
Well, I like the challenges. I think compared to last season, at least this time Jeff told them the consequences of it instead of, you know, oh no, we put Rock Shoy in the island. They already know what the consequences were when you put Rock Shoy in the island. You know?
But did he outright tell them, or he just told them that it's gonna be a significant advantage, right?
Yep. Even if he just said that, they'll be like, nah, it's Rock Shoy, he's too boring. Sure he is. But he's not boring enough to not be immune, right?
And he's not boring in the sense that he was able to survive. He was able to thrive in exile,
that island,
right?
Yeah,
in isolation.
He made fire.
I don't know, but like Drea like called it. She straight up called it, and the show showed us Drea straight up calling it. Like, what if the other half is immune? Like, you know,
and that fed into my whole. Ooh, why does Drea know? The show is scripted. That's one.
Or the producers. Or the producer. There was what was it? I forget who it was. I think it might have been like Rob Sestranino or something. Like the best survivors will also look at and listen to the producers when they ask questions. right? Like, no doubt, when looking for an immunity idol, not only do you look for the idol, but you look at where the producers are shooting. Because they need to get that shot.
They need to get
that shot of you missing the idol with highlighting it there and all of that. So, if you watch where the producers are filming, you might get an inkling of like where you want to look a little bit harder.
Maybe that's what Lindsay did. She was like walking around, and then all of a sudden she saw the producers like take a long shot of the toe, the foot. Like, okay, why are they taking a shot of that? There's nothing notable about it. Right.
The greatest or the great Survivor players should do that now.
Yeah.
What about the advantages? What do we have to say about the advantages? Especially the advantage amulet. That was the one thing that was new for this season.
That was
really
amazing, but I think it was underutilized. That's just me. By the ones who are holding the advantage amulets.
Agreed. Or no, yeah.
They only just used it for the extra vote, didn't they? And did she even use the immunity aspect of it?
Because once you use it, you can't use it anymore, right?
Yeah, they know. Lindsay played it wrong at the very end because she was like, it's going to go back into circulation if I play it, so I won't play it.
It never got played, actually. The advantage amulet never got played.
Like, yeah, it was underutilized because Lindsay made the exact wrong call with the advantage amulet's final form.
But I remember, didn't Drea even joke, yes, I used 2 votes on you?
Because she had an extra vote from Shipwheel Island.
Oh.
That's why she's the advantage queen, man.
God damn. I thought that was the advantage amulet version. No.
Because
it's so underutilized.
Yeah.
It was tremendously underutilized, but I love the idea because it presents you with a choice of, do we work together or does this put a bounty on another person?
On our heads. Eventually it became the latter. Come late merge, but during the merge, like, let's stick together, guys. We have 3 of these. And it was like, no, let's take.
No, it's just it was weird. Like what I suggested. I would have wanted it for each of them to have that power, right? And then if, say for example, the 3 of us have the advantage amulet, I use my advantage amulet at 3, and at 3 it is an extra vote, right? Or a steal, at 3, or was it a steal a vote? Either one of the 2. So because I used it, I have to throw it in the fire or give it to the producers or something, and then the other 2 get notified. Okay, the advantage amulet has been used. Your advantage amulet now has this power.
Yeah, that would make so much more drama.
Yeah, like you have to choose when are you gonna use it, right? It makes
That's a lot of extra votes to be out there, assuming that they go with Shipwheel Island as well.
Yeah,
like Shipwheel Island plus 3 extra votes.
Oh, that would be so cool. It would be the reverse of what happened during the Jenny vote. It would be, why are there so many votes? It's not, where are the votes, right?
5 people eligible to vote, like 10 votes come out of the little.
What? How did that happen?
I really liked it though.
Yeah,
it was a great little twist. Like Martin said, completely underutilized. They should do it again and see how it plays out.
Yeah, and the fact that it came up right at the start of the season, and then they had to put on blood and mud on themselves, and they overdid it. Yeah. The 3 of them overdid it.
Your blood. No, it's okay. It's okay.
Rolling around and like the sand and everything. Like, oh man.
You also, I mean, that also goes into the fact that probably the cast was also told, okay, have fun with it. You don't need to be too serious about things. You can have fun with stuff, right? That's why it was Drea. It was Drea. Was like rolling around in the sand. Yeah. What about the beware advantage? The second iteration of the beware advantage.
Wow. How messed up was that?
Well,
Especially on the
Pops.
Jenny vote. When Mike found out beware advantage, just like, oh man, I can't vote. And that's what happened to the Jenny vote.
Yeah.
Him and Sanel, that was so dumb.
It's another thing that I like though.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's obviously not going to have. It's obviously not going to work in its current state with the next group of survivors, because they're all going to be listening for stupid things people say, or it could also be used as like a red herring to make other people think that they have an
They can
idol or
game
an
this now.
advantage by saying something completely stupid.
But wouldn't that paint the target on their backs, though?
Yep.
If you say something stupid, then the people will think, "Oh, you've got the beware advantage. We need to take you out. Otherwise, if it gets activated, you're gonna have an idol."
Yeah, it's true. With a plot twist, you have a vote and you vote that person out, so you can use it to feign not having a vote.
They need to they need to rethink how if they're gonna do a beware advantage again.
It'd be nice if if there are other conditions that are met apart from saying like a dumb phrase. Could be get one of your tribe mates to say a dumb phrase during the next challenge.
Ooh.
Or it could be like catch 20 fish,
So it's a little bit more like the beware advantage that Drea got. Putting her hand in that hole and then coming out with red arm.
Yeah.
A personal challenge that you have to complete, right?
Caught red-handed.
Yeah.
So it's like a side quest. It could be like a side quest.
And it would also be sort of similar to what Tony did. He was blackmailed by, was it Parvati or no? Natalie, I think, blackmailed him in Winners of War, and he had to raise 6 fire tokens or something like that to get an advantage.
Oh
yeah. So it can be like that. It can be like like what you said, Joe. It can be like a side quest that you have to complete in order for you to do to get the advantage. And until then, you don't have a vote. It would still be a beware advantage. Yeah, that's nice. Knowledge is power. Has not been useful at all so far.
Baroque is so broken. It was countered twice in a row, and even if it didn't work this time, even if knowledge is power would have worked this time, because of the exit press, we do know that if Drea had indeed gotten an idol, Omer would have just played his idol nullifier.
Yeah. I was really surprised that there was an idol nullifier. Had you not told me, Joe, that there was one, I wouldn't have known. And
it was around episode 4 now, like as early as episode 4. So the pre-merge. Omer and Jonathan were walking by the water well. They found an advantage or whatever. And the way Omer puts it, and I have never in my life been faster than Jonathan Young. So he grabs it, right? It's like idol nullifier, which explained quite a bit. And if Drea's knowledge's power would have worked, it would have still been countered by the idol nullifier, in that if she played it for herself, because Omer was targeting her, he would have used the idol nullifier. So knowledge's power is, if we're being results oriented, not a great thing to keep.
But or if you get the knowledge's power, you should never tell anyone else about it, right?
But then that's hard to do in an inherently social game, right?
Yeah. True. That's true. Oh gosh. Okay, now this is one of the more controversial ones: the hourglass.
Go, Martin.
Is it? I think Rockstory just nullified that controversy because he was rock strong.
No, it's controversial. I mean, Zhao and I talked about this at length. About how the hourglass is imbalanced. The choices are imbalanced, right? I mean, why exactly? Why wouldn't you break it, right? Why wouldn't you want to be immune? What is the what do you call this? The trade-off for not doing
it. In our season 42 pre-show episode or pre-season episode, we talked about this as well. Like, you know, this is like the heavy hand of the producer trying to be like, hey, you should totally do this and not this. Like we see that in other in other challenges, like in that savvy or sweat, the hand of the producer pushing them to do the savvy thing instead of the sweat this time around.
Yeah. Yeah, but the hourglass, I don't know. They need to make the choice more balanced, in my opinion.
Yeah, and more than just like you're going to get a major advantage. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Yeah.
Nudge, nudge.
Yeah.
Holy shit, that's true.
And yeah, it's a I remember the suggestion that I made about it. If it's really about turning back time, go back to the time before the challenge. Right? Reset the challenge. Have everyone do it again. Right?
Draw
Something
rocks
like that.
again, no?
Yeah, draw rocks again, or yeah, just if it's turning back time, right? Because I mean, the hourglass is supposed to stand for time, and you're turning back the hands of time, or you're breaking time.
Yeah.
They already broke time by making it 26 days, right?
Yeah. For some reason the metaphors in 41 and 42 are a little off. They use a die, they use a 6-sided die, but then again you just drop it and you get the parchment. The die itself does not tell you the result. It should, right? It should.
Draw by lots.
Right? So why use that die? Why did they just use the fire tokens? Drop a fire token.
Exactly.
Get the parchment. Right? It's weird the way that they're using. And then for this one, the metaphor of the hourglass is time. You're not turning back time. You're changing outcome. You're changing the outcome. Right? Yeah.
You're just reversing it.
You're reversing the outcome. No, you're not reversing time.
Yeah. Wait, don't you think they should just partner up with someone else aside from, Applebee's?
Applebee's, Arby's.
Nope. Maybe,
Denny's?
what?
Oh.
Denny's, right? Denny's. Or
Why?
Or Uno, because they need the Uno reverse card to reverse the decision. It's a game within a game.
Yeah,
Well, speaking of, what did you notice, or what did you think about not having the game within the game? Those rebus puzzles.
They swapped it out with Jeff talking a lot more to the audience, right?
Yeah.
It became more interactive directly with the audience. They probably didn't get a lot of engagement for it. in all honesty,
That's true.
That's why they took it out.
Filmed all of them. Okay, never mind.
Right? It's expensive to print out all of these things and set it up on the website, and nobody's playing it anyway. So yeah, let's just have Jeff talk to the audience directly. What about the Ship Wheel Island? Do you guys like Ship Wheel Island?
This time, was it more or less the same amount of times they had Ship Wheel Island on compared to last season?
I think it's more or less the same. Should they keep Ship Wheel Island and do the same thing with a ship wheel?
I wouldn't know, because I didn't feel it this much this time. I think this was the right kind of way of editing it, that I only noticed it once or twice. Because in 41, it's like almost every episode, like Shipwheel Island, until episode whatever. This one feels like the right way to keep it. Like, oh, we had Shipwheel Island. I didn't know that. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I kind of like I really like the Prisoner's Dilemma, like as a game mechanic. The weird thing about it though is that there is no consequence for protecting your vote if the other person
protected theirs as well.
Yeah, 'cause I don't know. Well, there is a consequence in the Prisoner's Dilemma, whatever happens, except if you both rat on each other.
Oh, the actual Prisoner's Dilemma.
Yeah, the actual Prisoner's Dilemma, because like protecting your vote offers no consequence when in the Prisoner's Dilemma having the less favorable outcome for you would have some sort of effect depending on what the person in the other room did. Right, because like if you protect your vote regardless of what the other person does, your vote is
safe,
is protected, and nothing happens, right? Like nothing happens is not a prisoner's it isn't Prisoner's Dilemma.
Maybe it's because
like,
you trade off the opportunity of getting the extra vote.
Okay, sure. I mean, but I like the Prisoner's Dilemma as like as a game mechanic. Like Martin, I am annoyed when they keep showing a shot of that mountain with like the
end time.
Like, just edit all of that out. You don't really need that.
We've seen it so many times. We already know how long they're gonna need to walk up.
Yeah. And this season they didn't do it much, so this is the right kind of amount.
I think they focused more on like the journey of the castaways going up. They focused more on them walking, featuring them walking, rather than the zoom out of like the entire mountain.
Like that again.
Complete with the music, right? With the music that's going up. Yeah.
And then Roxroy being awkward.
So Roxroy, that was Lydia, right? He was with Lydia. Note two castaways that were more different from each other.
That seemed to be like a theme for going up Shipwheel Island, though. Like the cast that was going up, they were they weren't being as forthcoming as they probably should have been with each other, because they all kind of knew what the mechanics would be, but and instead of saying, all right, here's what I need, here's what I'm going to do, Chanel and Omer had to be cryptic. If it's something that's going to hurt your game, I'm not going to do it, that sort of thing. Like all of that, cryptic doublespeak wasn't necessarily something that they should have been doing if they wanted to play it optimally. So there's still space to play it optimally.
Yeah.
Which means like it could still come back.
It probably will. We probably won't get the Exile Island back, right? Because that is the Exile Island, right? That's Exile Island. That's where they.
I thought the Hourglass was Exile Island. I don't know.
I mean, it looks like the island where the Winners at War people went whenever they got voted out.
Oh, okay.
Because it had the same mountain with a with a trail
with the white line,
top, right?
Yeah.
And the last thing about the game, do or die. Do or die. What do we think about do or die?
I'm just glad my prediction was wrong, because that would have sucked.
If Lindsay would have gotten eliminated because of it.
Yeah, or I was thinking Jonathan if I recall, right?
Yeah,
And it was funny. It was either her or him who was gonna miss that.
Yeah. Again, going
Oh my
back
God.
to Lindsay almost getting screwed over by her own competitive nature.
Yeah.
It's not being played the way they want the way that I think the producers want it to be played. Right? Because do or die is a game mechanic, is a comeback mechanic. Like I think we mentioned this in our pre-show or in our pre-season show, where a good game has a comeback mechanic, and do or die should be a comeback mechanic where somebody is completely on the outs and it's known that that person is on the outs, that there's like a 100% chance that this person is going to be booted out, and so they play the do or die because having a 2/3 shot is better than like 100% to go home. You know?
Yeah, maybe
So,
that's
like,
how that dice should be played, right? You play the dice so that you do or die. You do or die, right?
Puede.
Yeah.
That's also how, Jao, you increase the odds of the shot in the dark, because that was one of the things that we thought was like really bad. Like the odds of shot in the dark is too low. So that's how you increase it. You increase it from 1/6 to 1/3.
I'm so sad that they don't that Shot in the Dark didn't have a big moment this season where it saved somebody.
Yeah. Yeah. Who would you have wanted it to save?
Huh.
Who played the
Would've been
Shot in the
fun.
Dark? I don't even remember.
Did Tori try
Tori,
to use it before she
Swati.
got voted out? Right?
Who else did it? Those are the only two that I remember.
The first guy, I think, the blue
Zach?
guy,
Zach,
Zach, I think.
Oh yeah, the first vote, and it wasn't even a vote.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
right.
true.
Those are the only. Then they're all Ika. The Ika guys used shot in the dark.
Mariah used it.
Oh, she did. Okay, that's how
She
purple
did?
she is. That's how purple she is. We don't even remember that.
Like, we don't remember her. I'm so sorry, Mariah.
We're so sorry, Mariah. We're
Sorry, Mariah.
pretty sure you're a nice person. We just don't
Yes.
remember how you played the game. Yeah, shot in the dark. It's a mechanic that I think should be tweaked. It can stay in the game because it's like a last resort for anyone who's like really on the outs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Any other things to note about the game?
What do you think about like the fewer days no food thing?
Marks, what do you think of that?
It's okay. Especially when there's a lot of coconuts in the area, I guess.
But they starve.
I don't know
if they starve.
Yeah. I don't know if they needed a Nasir on that island like last year because no, you can aside from fish, he found out the papayas. Remember, it's not just the coconuts, the papayas.
Yeah, well, Tori was looking for taro. Right? Tori was looking for taro. Yeah.
And she even told the producers, I wasn't looking for an idol.
I'm looking for taro. Yeah.
And the other thing that not so much game related but show related, because like we've made the distinction in the past about students of the game and students of the show, but something like show related, what do you think of not having the after show a few months later and instead having like the immediate aftermath?
What do you mean the immediate aftermath? Like they come up with an episode showing where they are now?
I mean, like, yung ano ba? Having the after show directly after they announce the winner,
okay, yeah. Martin, I know that you missed the You missed
The long,
yeah.
adventurous ride of Jeff Probes from tribal council to a helicopter to a jet ski to the streets of New York or LA.
So you prefer that? You prefer that one?
No, not really. Oh well, this
You just miss seeing Jeff go
Just
through all
kidding.
that journey.
that's right. But I kind of miss it too because you don't get to see the pre-merge guys, the pre-jury guys.
Mm.
And that's what sucks. What if you had a JD Robinson and you couldn't have him speak? And it's just time to like talk shit again on screen after being voted out so long.
That's true. Listening to Voce talk
Would have been
to
good. Voce.
what's her name? Voce and
Eddie.
yeah,
Whoever the
Sydney?
hell, Sydney. Yeah, was he even in the
Oh,
jury?
yeah.
No,
No, Boche was first booth,
Voce was
right?
Third, yeah.
Or third?
booth,
Okay, yeah.
Before Bill Walton, aka Brad.
Brad, that's the name.
Even
That's
Brad,
the name,
see?
Brad.
Even Brad. We missed out on Brad.
Because I don't in the podcasts when Voce and Tiffany are on the same like episode, it's crazy funny.
Really?
Like they're they always bicker ba. So parang,
Wow.
We
okay.
missed the vote on we missed the vote on Voce being there. And even 42. Who do you have? You have Jenny. Yeah, that could have been a segment in a reunion show. Had David chose Lydia instead of Jenny, what would the dynamics have been? Who would have stayed for the merge? Right? Would they even won or lost a bit more? That would have sucked. Or like Jackson, how are you been after the evacuation? It's like the medevac people, we don't know what's happened now after the show. So hopefully with the pandemic slowly becoming, we're going back to pre-pandemic levels. Hopefully 43 would have a reunion show.
Hopefully.
fingers crossed. No, but I don't know. It was said that I don't know when Jeff said that I'm going to keep a lot of the things from 41 and 42. I think one of the things that was implied there was having having the show, the after show be Fijian pizza, right there and then.
Fijian pizza.
Oh gosh. Oh gosh. And another thing that we don't get to do because they have the final reading of the votes right there and then is that it's a little weird. No, not weird. I feel a little badly for the final three because they don't get to clean up when they celebrate, right? They're still in their dirty get up. Meanwhile, we've got the jury who's like all garbed up in whatever they're in.
That's true,
right?
They don't get a rest.
Yeah, they don't get to rest at all. Who knows? But yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, by the time that season 43 comes out, hopefully they'll be able to make a good decision about it. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So,
yeah. There were, in my notes here, I don't remember exactly what it was, but like, we won't get to see what happens with Marianne and her family. Like that would have been something for an after show that was months out instead of like the immediate aftermath, because that was one of those like things that were left hanging. It would be nice to see Omer's nieces,
yeah, whom Jeff spoke to directly through the screen. Yeah.
So
yeah, actually that's true. That's true because Marianne did say that her being on Survivor might be a vehicle for her family to be able to come together again, so that they'd watch the episodes. Yeah.
So like to see, to see whether or not that family shows up for the reunion show. Wow.
Yeah.
That would have been.
And whether or not like Zach actually asked Marianne out.
But it feels like, I don't know. It feels like they're relying on the podcasters like Sina Rob, Sister Nino, and stuff.
Supply all
Sina
of
Survivor specialists.
Mr. Rob.
Yes.
Mr. Rob.
Yes. Again,
Yeah.
like I said, that's why it's the Ouroboros. It's the ecosystem. They feed the podcasters who create more fans, who join Survivor, that feeds the podcasters to create more fans who join Survivor. And that's why it's an Ouroboros.
Or it could just be like 42 is the same as 41. So like it's eating itself.
It could be that too. It could be that too.
That's my transition for the next part.
Exactly. Speaking of season 41, thank you for the assist. How would let's do a very quick comparison. Season 41 and season 42. I'll just ask for your answers. Which one did you like better?
42.
42.
42.
And this is like, how do you call that? 41 has a good cast too. Both casts were good.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't expect 42 to like improve against 41, but it did. It was more fun.
Oh, well, the one thing that I didn't like about 42 was they didn't have Ponderosa videos. I think that would have elevated it into something sublime, no? Like that was one of the things that I enjoyed about 41. Their Ponderosa videos, you know, getting to see like Johnny learn a little bit about rugby, you know, not like sniffing glue, right? But like rugby where you have to throw the ball backwards, you know, yeah.
Of course, yeah, that's what rugby.
There's your Laro lang number 2.
Talk about rugby.
Right?
The
So,
sport,
like,
not sniffing.
Yes,
not the glue.
yes.
No?
Not the glue.
Yeah, 42 I enjoyed more as a show. Probably because we already knew what was coming from 41. Like 41 had to spend a lot of time explaining.
They were world building.
Yeah, they were world building. They had to explain the advantages, etc. Even if it wasn't, time that was Jeff looking at the camera. Like some of the confessionals had to be used to kind of explain what the advantage was instead of what they would be doing with the advantage that they got. So we really didn't get to see as much of the characters of 41 as compared to 42. And if we look at like good storytelling is compelling characters in time or compelling characters in plot. Season 41 didn't have as compelling a cast of characters that we were shown.
Yeah.
Right? Because like I know that from all of their exit press, like they're great characters, but like the show didn't show us that. In 42 the show did. Probably because we already kind of knew what was going on from 41. So they had to, with 41, fall back a little bit more on the traditional archetypes. That way we didn't have to use all of that brain power to try and wrap our heads around the new archetypes. The 41 was a little bit more archetypey, like traditionally, our characters there were more traditional survivor archetypes, whereas 42 broke from that mold a little bit, right? Like, just so that we had the computing power, they put in the archetypes that we were used to so we wouldn't have to think about it. And I think that in that way I enjoyed 42 more, but 41's cast was kind of screwed.
Oh
yeah.
Like,
what about you,
41's cast deserved better.
41's cast deserved better in terms of the editing and the storytelling. What about you, Martz?
I don't know, everything was okay between both of them. But yeah, wow. Again, unexpected. This 42 cast shined, man. So it gave 41 a run for their money.
41 was fun when we were watching it, but by comparison, 41 is like the Dark Knight, and like 42 is like Batman 66. You know?
Holy smokes, Batman! Actually.
Okay. All right. So no. Let's make it more current.
West.
So you've got. So would you say that 41 was DCEU and 42 was MCU?
Yeah, something like that. Something like that. Right? Like by comparison, it feels so dark, and like it's
Zack
so
Snyder
serious,
universe, and then you've got the Kevin Feige universe.
Or maybe Enisha. Maybe it's like Christopher Nolan, right? Which a nice mix of like light and dark, But then when you have Christopher Nolan put up against Ant-Man or something, like all of a sudden Dark Knight Rises becomes like the darkest thing in the world.
Oh no. Oh no.
Right, so like by comparison, like the relative darkness of 41 as compared to 42, which I think is kind of why I enjoyed 42, or why I liked 42 a little bit more. It was lighter television than 41.
Maybe also the shock of the fact that we're seeing them for the first time. What you mentioned about them being on it for us seeing this world, this 26-day Survivor world for the first time, and us seeing people getting subjected to this world, this 26 days Survivor world for the first time. So we see the hardships of Shan, of Ricard, of all of these people shivering, as compared to, especially since we have the bundle of joy and energy that is Marianne, whose energy pervaded throughout the entire season.
That's
right?
so true. That's so true.
It creates a different mood or vibe, I would say, right?
Even the edit though, even the edit of 42 seemed a little bit,
lighter.
There was a lot more
the moments,
little joke, a
moments.
lot of jokes in them,
Yeah.
Like even the
40
toenails.
Again, I go back to the Swati boot. Like that was just amazing. Like I'm not sure that they would have done something like that for 41.
Yeah,
they wouldn't have edited
the
41
montage.
like that. Yeah, like if anybody in that cast did a monkey run, I'm not sure they would have shown it.
Jonathan and his monkey run,
which had a callback in that, by the way, which had a callback in that challenge where they had to run across the those little circles.
Yeah, and he just did a monkey run. It was actually a Chekhov's gun. It was a Chekhov's gun, and it got fired.
It was a Chekhov's run.
Yes, there you go. It's a Chekhov's run. All right.
We should name a monkey Chekhov. let's sponsor a monkey in like the Manila Zoo or something and name it Chekhov.
Chekhov run. Right. So that's I also like 42 better, and for most of the same reasons that we pointed out. It was lighter, storytelling was much better for me compared to 41. Now, since we're doing comparisons, let's go ahead and take a quick look at 43. What are your quick opinions about what we've seen from the cast of 43?
The promo looks like it's going to be the Dark Knight.
Really?
Like darker. I don't know. The promo
Knight.
Yeah, the promo feels like the Darker Knight.
Yeah.
I don't have a feel yet of them because remember, this is what we saw in 42. We didn't know it was going to be this fun. We expected Legends of Tomorrow season 1. We got seasons 4 onwards. Joel, which is like my favorite seasons. They just don't take themselves seriously anymore.
Yeah. But yeah, I understand where Zhao is coming from, because especially when we, I don't quite remember what he is saying, but when we have that shot of that guy with a really long beard talking,
The beard guy.
About how you have to pick yourself out. I don't know, something about hardships and whatever and all of that. That was the line, and it was like, wow. And then you have this. One of the castaways is a has a, what do you call this?
It's an amputee, right?
He's an amputee.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
so
think that's the first time we have an amputee since what, Vanuatu? Or
Mhm.
or what? Yeah, the lady I just saw.
Not Lindsay.
Yeah.
Not Lindsay.
No,
Another
not
lady.
Lindsay. Survivor 43, the one with the
Yeah,
leg.
she's got a
Prosthetic leg,
prosthetic leg, and I think
So
she's an Olympian.
Oh,
Yeah.
Nice. Oh yeah. I remember mentioning she's like an athlete or something.
Yeah, she's an athlete. So it looks kick-ass. For me, it looks
it looks
kick-ass.
nice.
43
So,
looks kick-ass. I think that they're
the
going to
thing
go. I think they're swinging the pendulum. 41 was
Mm.
really dark and heavy, and then we've got 42 that's like really light and fun, and Marianne, everything Marianne is or was, that's 42. And then we go to 43, where we've got this really serious looking guy with a really long beard, and then we've got this Olympian amputee. Yeah, yeah. So I don't know. They're swinging the pendulum over to the other side this time.
I think the thing that got me was the very first shot of the promo with like the dude with the machete coming out from behind and sort of like going out, because I'm watching Obi-Wan Kenobi, right? Like as one does, and a lot of what Obi-Wan Kenobi the show is dealing with is, Order 66, and you have that iconic shot of Anakin Skywalker about to kill all of the younglings, and it looks just like that. A shot of him from behind with like some sort of blade.
Yeah.
When I saw that first shot, I was like,
Annie. It's gonna be dark and gritty. Martin, you were about to say something.
Sorry.
Well, I was comparing the shots of season 42 and season 43, the preview. The winner was actually focused. Marianne was on focus there too. Mike was on focus there in the preview.
So is the winner going to be that dude with the long beard? Ooh.
I mean, the worst that could happen, he would be the first medevac, like the first guy. So, like, oh, he must be cool, and then, oh wow, he got taken out early. Yeah. Like, well, that was anticlimactic. It's like Captain Phasma. Ah, cool armor. Oh,
that's all you did?
That's all you did. Just getting into the toys. So Disney of you. So Disney. Like,
she was actually cash grab Phasma. Any other things that you wanted to note about season 43?
I'm just excited for this new season, and hopefully I can join you guys like a bit more, not just audio
not just during the pre and the post season episodes.
Not just like
you completely called it, by the way.
Right? This is going to be a reunion.
Martin was like, I probably won't be able to join you guys. You're like, oh, you might be able to join us. You're gonna be able to join us for the post for the post-season show.
That'll be our reunion show. Yeah,
I was watching the show of the Council of Titos. We're here to you live, re-recorded on the YouTube.
Okay, anything else? That's it. All right.
That's it.
There was no maze.
There was no maze.
I'm still super bitter about that. They already took out. They already took out all of the theming of Survivor as like the place. Survivor place. So like, Survivor 42, and like the thing had a maze on it. I was expecting a maze.
So so we should expect Kraken for season 43, right? Or a huge ass octopus.
Yeah,
that's exactly what we. Wait, let me. That's exactly what we shouldn't expect because it's on the logo.
It's on the logo, and like what you said, Jao, anything that happens on next time on Survivor is actually a red herring.
Remember when we all thought Tori was the one that was going to get the Beware advantage?
Oh yeah, yeah, but no.
Because of that red herring. So like there was no maze in season 42. So I guess there's going to be no octopus in season 43.
And then they're gonna show us octopi everywhere.
Oh no.
Okay. All right. And that is it for this episode of the Council of Titos. We hope that you all enjoyed our takes on the entire season. There are no indications yet, as far as I know, as to when season 43 is going to air. Hopefully, it'll be sometime later this year. So sometime around September.
Yeah. Please make it October onwards.
Mga kalaro, what was one thing that you liked about season 42? Let us know down in the comments. Now, if you liked our video, hit the like button so we don't get voted off this channel. Also, consider hitting the subscribe button and the bell icon so you'll get notified whenever we come up with new content on the Laro-Laro Lang channel. This channel has other shows on it focused on sports and other similar things. Now, if you also want to hear about our thoughts but don't really want to look at our mugs, you can also check us out wherever you get your podcasts. We upload them as soon as we upload the video as well. So you can check that out so that you can listen to us while you're driving or jogging or whatever it is you're doing.
Or whenever you're supposed to be doing something that you're not doing, or whenever you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, you can be listening to us.
Yes.
Yeah, like recording a podcast. But yeah, so where else can we find us? Well, you can find me and Jao on channel14.com. Also on Spotify. We have other episodes featuring our friend Joel on some of our episodes like Cast Garden and even Bodega Nights. We were talking about Survivor Winners at War a few years ago, right? And I guess maybe in a few months we'll have another season of Cast Garden. Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows, right? We'll see.
It's all up in the air.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, this has been Chief Bisdak Joel Parcon.
And I'm Jao. I'm going to miss talking to you every week.
Goodbye, guys. Send me your prayers so I can come back here alive.
Right. He's in Exile Island right now.
Free Martin.
He's in Exile Island right now. Anyway, mga kalaro, we hope that you can join us on the council again. Until then, stay safe, everyone.
The Titos have spoken.